Hi everyone, welcome to A Stitch in Time. Today is Friday, February 24th, 2023, and this is episode 247. I'm Carol, also known as Knits and Pearls on Ravelry, and I live east of Vancouver in the Fraser Valley of British Columbia, Canada, where it is sunny but really cold today. At least the winds have died down. We've had Arctic outflow winds for the past several days and it's been bitterly cold. So yeah, the wind has settled down a bit, but we are expecting snow tomorrow night. So I guess winter hasn't quite left us yet. I hope you're all doing well, that you've had a good week. I've had quite a good week. Hasn't been quite as hectic as the last few have been, particularly the last few days. So I've been able to catch up on all of my correspondence, which feels fantastic. And I've also been able to get some knitting done. So I have a few things to share with you today. I wasn't sure if I was going to get an episode out this week. I had planned to record yesterday, but I bit my cheek several times a few days ago. And yesterday it was extremely painful and swollen. It hurt every time I talked, every time I ate, every time I did anything. And so thankfully today it seems to be a little bit better, but I still feel like I'm talking with a bit of a, I don't know, a lisp or a muffled kind of sound. So if you hear that, that's what's going on. I'm hoping that all this talking doesn't aggravate it too much, because it's like my teeth rub against it every time I talk. In any case, let's give this a try, because I really want to get an episode out this week. Before I show you what I've been working on, just a reminder that we have a couple of make-alongs taking place in the Ravelry group. Another Year of Stash is a year-long chatter thread, and the Yarn of the Month Club is a monthly make-along in which we attempt to use up some special skeins from our stash. February is quickly coming to a close, and so next episode I will be announcing the winners for the February Another Year of Stash thread and the January Yarn of the Month Club. So if you have not yet finished your January Yarn of the Month project, be sure to get it done and posted in the January thread by next week. Okay, first up, I only have works in progress, but this one's a half-finished project because I have finished the first of my, well, I'm calling them my Sugar Plum Fairy Maiden socks. The pattern is Fairy Maiden Socks by This Handmade Life, and the yarn that I'm using is from Sweet Fiber. It was part of my Christmas or my holiday sock club from Sweet Fiber. This is the Super Sweet sock in the Sugar Plum Dance colorway, hence the name. So not much to say about this. I'm trying to think what to tell you about it. Top down sock, traditional heel flap and gusset, and just really pretty cable and lace pattern here. Twisted rib cuff, as you can see. I think this particular yarn shows off this patterning quite well. Really nice stitch definition, and yeah, I just love everything about these socks except for some of the cabling, because it's a little bit fiddly. The pattern does call for 1x1 cables, left and right. I've substituted right twist and left twist because it does the same thing and is a little bit easier to what's the word I'm looking for? To do. It's another word I was looking for, but that will do. You know what I mean. It's easier to do left and right twist than the left and right cable. A little bit less changing, you know, stitch from one position to another. So anyway, there's sock number 1, and I am Now on the heel, I just did the first 2 rows of the heel for sock number 2. So working my way through those. This is sock yarn number 1 from my own personal sock yarn club. I didn't start these until mid-January, and I just know I'm not going to be able to, I don't think anyway, that I'm going to be able to keep up with doing 1 per month. But once this one is done, I will be opening bag number 2 and finding out what's inside of there. This year I'm not being so concerned about finishing those yarns up in a month. It's just a way of me not having to think about what's on deck next. I open bag number 2 and that's the sock yarn I'm going to be knitting with. Just take some of the decision making out of the way. I do find I often get hung up on that when it's time to cast on a new pair of socks, and also it's just a way of using up some of the sock yarns that I really want to use up, including my yarns from a couple of different Sweet Fiber Yarn sock clubs. The project that I am most excited to have picked up this week is Sean by Elizabeth Doherty. You've not seen this project for a while, and I've been itching to get back to it. Last time I showed it to you, I had completed all of the colorwork yoke, and I had joined the split for the sleeves and body and finished all of the color work on both the sleeves and the body. Tried it on, wasn't fitting quite right. I blocked it, it was fitting great, and I knew I would be okay to continue on with the body and sleeves. I finally picked it back up again a few days ago. I've completed both sleeves and I've been working my way down the body. So here it is. This is what the sleeves look like at the cuff. Bring this in a little bit closer so you can see that color work on the yoke. And as you can see, I do have about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, probably 3.5 inches or so done on the body. I am knitting this from Rowan Felted Tweed. This color, hang on, I'll just grab the other. This color is color 117. Sorry, I'm just reading my notes here. Yeah, 117 Clay. I love this with the blue flecks in it. And then this is 150 Rage, and it also has some blue flecks. So I think they go together really well. Red is my favorite color. If you've been watching for a while, you know that. I've really been enjoying working on this project. I just love everything about it. And now that I know it's going to fit okay, I just want to knit it up as fast as I can so I can wear it before winter ends. So I intend to concentrate on this quite a bit over the next little while. And finally, just going to put this back in here. With the pattern, everything together. Finally, I've been continuing to work on my blanket of cheer, which have a lot of the yarns in this gorgeous bag. I have not completed any squares since we last spoke, but I have been kind of just working up some of the semi-solid squares that will then get joined with, oops, gonna drop something up, with some self-striping yarn. So I have a couple of this blue. This is gonna be knit up with this chambray colorway, which is, I had bought these two together as a set, and I've made a pair of socks with it. So I've got, actually I guess I made a pair of socks with both, because I did a pair of self-striping socks with coordinating heels, and I also did a solid pair of socks out of this yarn. So I've got that blue one, I've got this kind of brick red, which I think I tucked. Yeah, this is gonna go with the, the apple turnovers colorway. You can see that color there. I haven't yet wound this up, but I'm also going to use this color with this yarn. I've got this gorgeous purple that's going to go, I'm not sure if it's in here either. I think this is the Summer Fairy colorway. I think it's just in the other, it's in my other bag, but that purple is just gorgeous. And then I am currently working on another bright blue. And this one is going to go with some new yarn. So let's move on to acquisitions, because it kind of ties in with this blanket. So I had ordered 4 skeins of Bounce in plain vanilla, which is just undyed yarn, and they arrived I think it was yesterday, so it's getting really blown out. There you go. So this is what I'm going to be using for the borders. So it'll go with, you know, all of the different colors, dark, light, subtle, bright. So I still haven't settled exactly on what I'm going to do for the borders of these various mitered squares, but I'm going to be using this yarn. So I've got this one I wound up right away, and then I also got another skein which I wound up right away, and I'm going to be using some of this yarn with this blue. I was delighted when I opened it up because I had this skein, this little mini skein from my holiday mini countdown collection, and I didn't have a yarn that went with it. And when I opened this, it's like, oh yes, that's perfect. So what this skein is a special skein that was dyed for the people who took part in the Fibernymph Dye Works Meomel last year and used a minimum of 200 grams per quarter. And so Lisa dyed up this special skein for us. It's called, I chose the Mountain Tweed BFL base, and the colorway is Community. And she came up with this colorway in a really unique way. So we got a little note explaining it. So what she did is there were 32 people who participated in the make-along, and she took their ravatars and put them all together, and then what did she say? She created a compilation image, and then she tweaked it and distorted it to get a good blend of colors. And I think it's really cool because I can see that's my Ravatar right there, all kind of distorted. And then she chose the, it gave the color picker application, gave her the 10 most prevalent colors, and then she chose the first 6 colors. And so that's how she came up with this colorway, which I think is really cool. I love that idea of community. I'm continuing to participate in, her make-along this year, but this year's make-along is the Soy Mel, which is the Stop Shooting on Yourself make-along, in which we choose our own projects, and the whole idea is that you work on things that you might normally put off working on because you should be doing something else. I find it's quite a freeing concept. And I'm really trying to embrace that this year, this idea of not everything needs to have a deadline. And it's okay if I feel like just knitting like mitered square after mitered square for a period of time. Do it. It's making me happy. And that's partly, I think, why some of my projects this year have been languishing. Partly it's because there's been lots going on. I've had less knitting time than usual, but it's also I'm feeling less pressured to do it so it's done. You know what I mean? So it's a very relaxed, casual kind of make along. So I urge you to check it out. I know some of you in my group are also over there, and it's fun seeing everyone's projects. All right, I'm going to tuck that aside, take a sip of tea, and then I'll talk about what is up and coming. So as I mentioned, February's Yarn of the Month Club is coming to an end, and so I have been giving some thought to what I'm going to do for March. I've had set aside a big bag of yarn to choose from, and what I decided to pull out is this skein. It comes from Riverstone, which is a Canadian yarn company from the Kootenay region of British Columbia, Canada. I'm not sure if they're still in existence or not. This is a 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon blend, 400 yards, 365 meters. It's a fingering weight yarn. And this was given to me by my daughter for my birthday a few years ago. And I thought it'd be appropriate to knit it in my birthday month. And when she gave it to me, she said, "It's so soft, it's got cashmere in it. Please don't use it for socks. Please use it for something else." And so I've been kind of waiting for the right project. And I started going through some patterns that I had favorited for or purchased for cowls or small shawls, and I came across this one. I had actually bought it when it first came out because it was on for a really good price. It is called A Secret Skein. It's by Stephanie Lotvin of Tellybean Knits. So let's see if I can bring that a little bit closer. I'm going to go on this side. So it is a bandana style cowl, and as you can see, it has lots of long elongated stitches and kind of garter stitch. I haven't looked super carefully at the instructions yet, but I thought that this would be a good use for it. One, because it only takes a skein of yarn and it is adjustable. And for another, I just thought it would show off the yarn really nice, and it would be something nice and soft for around my neck. I thought about another hat, but the truth is I don't wear tons of hats, and I thought I would get more use out of a cowl. And so that's what I'm going to be knitting for the Yarn of the Month Club in March. And then, as I mentioned last week, just a reminder that also in March starts, I think March 2nd, is the Simply Fun Mystery Knit Along by Lisa K. Ross. And I am going to be using this mini set of Stroll tonal yarns called Moody Blues, and that's from Knit Picks. So I need to wind those up and get ready to cast on March 2nd. So yes, I have a couple of different cowls I will be working on throughout March. But that's okay. I like cowls. I've really discovered I like that bandana style of cowl, and so I'm looking forward to knitting on both of those. As for what's been going on around here, we are continuing to prepare for our upcoming kitchen renovation, which will begin in earnest at the end of March. We've been going through cupboards and sorting through things, gathering a big pile for donation. Our kids have taken a few things, but most things they don't really need. So we'll be donating different kitchen items. It's amazing. We've lived in this house for 33 years. And it's surprising what gets lost in the back of your cupboards that you hardly ever go into. Cameron started pulling things out, I think it was Sunday morning, out of our bottom corner cupboard, and I forgot we even had this electric wok. I believe it was a wedding present. And it moved here with us. We got married 1984, so yeah, 39 years ago. I remember using it in the first apartment that we lived in together, so I'm pretty sure it was a wedding present because I don't think it's something we would have bought. I have hardly ever used it over the years. It is now on its way, or is set aside for donation. If I haven't used it in probably 30-something years, I'm not going to use it now. Other things have been well used, but we're moving on from them. So anyway, that we've continued with. Last Sunday, we had our family over for family dinner to celebrate Family Day, which was last Monday. It's a new stat holiday. It's a few years old. And it was really nice. It was very casual kind of dinner. I just did pasta. And unfortunately, our oldest granddaughter didn't come. She was taking part in an event down in Vancouver that weekend, but the rest of the family was all there. We had a nice dinner, and then we played apples to apples afterwards, which was great because our two younger grandkids are now old enough to participate. So they each teamed up with an aunt or an uncle, and were able to play too. So I love this sort of new stage we're getting at where they're not just, you know, off playing with toys or things. They can participate in some of the quote grown-up activities. So that was really fun. And then Saturday, not so much fun. Saturday afternoon, we attended a celebration of life for one of the employees that my husband had worked, well, a co-worker, a colleague, work colleague, and taken way too soon by cancer. So, you know, that's never, you know, those things are hard, especially when there are people who aren't that much older than you are. Makes you really think about your own life, right? And then afterwards, we were downtown, and so we decided just to go for a drink afterwards. There's a new wine bar here in town, so we went in there, raised a glass to him, and enjoyed a little bit of a date afterwards. And we're going to be returning there this coming Saturday. It is Cameron's birthday on Monday, and so we're going to go out for dinner. So we decided we're going to go have a drink at this wine bar first, and then the restaurant where we're eating is just a few steps away from there. So we thought that would be nice. Actually, coincidentally, the wine bar is owned by our daughter-in-law's old boss, so just a little connection there. And we have quite a few new brewery. See, I can't say that with my breweries pop up in town lately, and I'm not a beer drinker, and so it's nice to have a wine bar. And which is also nice, is that the breweries, craft breweries, they also, I think all of them serve some wine, and this wine bar does serve some beer. So it's nice that you're not limited to just one or the other. I think that's about it. Just checking my notes here. Yeah, and so as far as my something good for this week, I think I would just say it is just having the last few days be a little bit more chill, having the chance to do some knitting, to not feel quite so torn in so many places. And yeah, just a little bit of just a few days of downtime I've been very grateful for them. And it feels really, really good to have caught up on all the YouTube comments and Ravelry boards, all those things. I've taken a few photos for projects, just all that kind of stuff. So going into the weekend, feeling good about that. Besides going out for dinner tomorrow night, we are also bottling wine tomorrow afternoon. And so other than that, not a ton going on. So it should be quite a relaxing Sunday. Looking forward to it, especially if it snows overnight on Saturday night. It'll mean we don't have to go anywhere on Sunday. All right, I'm really happy to have gotten this recorded after all this week. So I'm going to go ahead and edit it. I haven't had to pause it at all, so it should be a pretty easy job. And with any luck, it'll be up and running by the time Cameron gets home from work tonight. It's now, I think, it's late afternoon. It's about 3:30, so have yourselves a wonderful weekend and a good week ahead, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.